What the hell?
But we're still soldiers.
Keep those knees high.
Good try.
Good try? What is this, T-ball?
I'm here with the Going Dutch cast. Guys, it is so wonderful to meet you. Congrats on this show. This is such a funny show. I was laughing my butt off. I watched the first 3 episodes. And I'm so curious, how much cheese did all of you eat?
Oh, God.
Not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough.
Truly not enough. Yeah.
Not enough.
Yeah.
But listen, I will say this, and I know I'm prejudiced because I'm Irish. Ireland has such great fresh dairy, and their cheese is. I ate a lot of Irish cheese while I was there.
I ate a lot of halloumi when I was in Ireland.
Yeah.
It was really good. Like I had a halloumi sandwich. Dennis, you're not a fan of halloumi?
No, do you like
No,
halloumi?
I do it.
All cheese is good.
Yeah, all cheese is good.
All
Cheese
cheese
is
is
good.
good.
I had so much butter. I was worried about myself.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
butter
but it's
is
so
just-
good. But I will say that a lot of our fake cheese on set, not to ruin the illusion, but in the fromagerie, there's a lot of fake cheese, was so fun to play with. It was very like buoyant. It was like grown-up Play-Doh.
We got to stir these giant pots, and it's
Stir
very
'em.
soothing. Just
Big
stirring
fake
fake cheese. I highly recommend that.
Yeah, the sight gags with the cheese, like when people are talking, like their characters talking, all of a sudden you see somebody running with cheese. That is so funny. The sight gags in the show are hilarious. I do want to talk about the set because it is in Ireland, and you're kind of using it for the Netherlands. Since the Netherlands has to be a character for the show, how did you transform that, and how did you guys, as actors, kind of use that background to inform your performances?
Well, truthfully, the weather-wise and location-wise, the two countries share the same the same color in terms of the greens and the weather, pretty much. So that kind of matched. I liked being there. My parents are from there, so I have hundreds of cousins there, so that was nice. But it just becomes a character in the show. We used a real Irish Army base as our base, so that reinforced the idea. It's just there's so many. As the series goes on, you'll see how much we get out of the scenery and the location. But for me, it was like I don't know how many times my cousins were on the set.
Oh, and there are hundreds.
It was like a family production.
It's crazy.
But isn't it funny to hear, like, you as Dennis, like, love Ireland so much and appreciate it for all the wonder that it is, but the Colonel within the world of the show hates it. And it is fun to see that contrast of this man who, like, desperately wants to be in a war-torn, like, horrible location. It's now in this beautiful European countryside, and it's driving him nuts. And we have all these tulips everywhere, and it's so lush and green. So it's fun that we got to use
the tulips. He hates the tulips. It drives him crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of the contrast, Taylor, your character Maggie, she does have this contentious relationship with her father Patrick, and I'm wondering, how do you navigate that? Because you are a younger generation. You kind of approach things in a different way, kind of like looking for democracy. Versus her dad, who is very, outside the box, very rigid with his, procedures and his regime.
Yes. Well, they're so similar in a lot of ways, which I can relate to a lot with my parents. And I think in the world of the show, they're both really, really ambitious, really stubborn, really strong-headed people. They just have different approaches, right? And she is approaching things with a lot more kindness and warmth and a sort of like playful, forgiving attitude, whereas the Colonel is the exact opposite. But like what happens to a lot of us when we're around our parents, she really regresses into this like 16-year-old, you're ruining my life type person when he's there, which defies a lot of her wanting to be better and grow in her career. So there's a lot of push and pull that comes from the two of them. And there is a lot of fun contrast in Maggie that I loved playing and I related to a lot.
Yeah, and I think it's so funny that you two, I feel like you kind of have this balance to, Shaw, Danny's Shaw. And so I'm so curious about that too, Danny, because you have to be the middleman basically between the two of them. But I feel like there's also a hint of having feelings for Maggie, like Shaw starting getting there. And so I feel like that's what's happening.
Dennis.
So, yeah, I don't think he's going to like that.
Can't wait to see his reaction to that.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it will be.
It's going to be interesting because these two, he's such an idiot and so vain that while the first hints are happening across the first 6 episodes, He thinks he thinks there's something going on, but he's completely wrong because he can't imagine that would be happening. So he thinks like Danny's being like a big brother to her. That's what he thinks. That's how stupid this guy had
Good brother.
Very attentive brother.
Yeah, you're very attentive brother.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's I can't remember what episode when you guys eat the cake. Because that's really funny, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Oh, my God.
I ate so much cake.
Oh, my God. That's
So I'm
so
glad
funny.
to hear it.
This is a future
It
episode.
made the cut.
The cake made the cut.
Cake made the cut.
Yeah.
these-
So Danny, what does that feel like though for you as an actor, having to be that character that has to be a little bit more grounded than the two of them because they can be a little bit more chaotic?
Yeah, it was really fun. It was fun to be thrown into this world and playing this character who, in the beginning, is just comforted by familiarity. He's pretty rigid, but he's like his right hand. He's his wingman, right? His right hand man. We finish each other's sentences. We know everything, and then we have time now. Now we're planted in this base, and this is the first time where we're not in combat. We have time to enjoy cheese, to enjoy bowling, to enjoy laundry. I love doing laundry. And with this time, Shah, for the first time in his life, I think is really questioning his place and what is he really like? Who is he apart from the Colonel? Yeah. And I think that Maggie provides this sort of like alternate path to what his life could look like. And so it's kind of fun to be in between the two, but also having to be like, I'm still a major, I still got to do my job, I'm very efficient. So he's kind of torn in a way.
You know, in the pilot, where, did you see the pilot?
Yes.
You know, when he walks up with that, when we're trying to get Papadakis to do that drill, and now it's nighttime, and he walks up with that cheese sandwich. It's so funny. He strolls in like, oh, this is the greatest cheese sandwich. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
This guy's saying he has gout, and you're eating a cheese.
Well,
it's
do you
just
remember
so
the
funny.
first time you tasted something that's like
Yeah.
good? And
Yeah.
I think for Shah, that's like the first time he's actually tasted something,
Yeah.
and it's like, there's another way to make grilled cheese?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Even when you're eating the noodles, there's a scene where you're just kind of like I need the
sauce.
sauce.
Oh, my
Like I
God.
need to get the
Yeah.
sauce. It's so good. Before I wrap up, I want to ask you guys about Catherine Tate. She is so amazing in this,
my
and I
God.
love the chemistry you two have. What's it like working with her, and how does she, I guess, inform your performances each? Because you guys are different combos, create different comedies, which is really nice.
Well, she's such a pro. I mean, she's such a huge fan of hers. We were so lucky to get her. And you know, the character, like, obviously she read the scripts in advance before she took the part. And we had a little communication, but she's Catherine Tate.
Yeah.
And she was also very busy. So she was like, yeah, I'll be there on whatever the date is, you know. And then that morning, I remember it being in makeup, and I could see her across the trailer. She's talking to hair and makeup. So the character's getting her hair done and everything. And I just went over and I was going to run some lines, make sure we had the lines down. So it's the first time I heard the accent and saw the character. I got to tell you, that was like one of those things where you just go, oh my God. And then forget about being in front of the camera by the time she's such a pro. Yeah. And again, you want to talk about improvisation within the scene and within the character? God, she's great.
She's a masterclass. Working with her is a true masterclass. And I told her that once, and I think it was weird.
Yeah. But it was also cool to see.
But it was also beautiful.
Yeah, she's so good, man.
The whole crew, too. I think everyone there was just like, this is Catherine Tate.
Yeah.
You know, so it was so funny to see her just sitting there and being grounded in the scene, and everyone like just being in awe of her, especially in Ireland too. And like it was really cool. But just I feel like the whole cast. I mean, everyone adds such a unique, specific voice and it just kind of expands our universe in a really beautiful way.
Yeah, and then speaking of expanding universes, I want to see more episodes, and I'm just wondering what can we expect for the next, for the rest of the season? Because this is going to be, I think, everyone's favorite new show. It feels like Stripes, but it's really its own thing. Well,
without giving too much away, obviously there's some kind of a secret thing going on over here. Papadakis, which is thanks to Hal, the actor, Hal Cumpston, and his embodiment of that character. That character really went places that the showrunner, Joel Church Cooper, and myself, and Jack, one of the other producers, like we were like, oh man, we could go places with this guy, and we did. And that was all of us, like all interacting. That character takes surprising turns. The Catherine Tate relationship takes some turns. there's, without giving too much away, there's some really interesting plot twists that happen just in this triumvirate, these three characters, in terms of our dynamics, and my ex-wives come into play. Her mom and the other two ex-wives come to visit, and they hit it off with Catherine, which kind of is not what I expected. So there's a lot of plot twists.
I will say that there is things that Maggie gets to say to her dad that I think a lot of people wish they could say to their dad. And that is really fun and satisfying, and that sort of grows throughout the season in really creative ways. So.
Yeah. It's true.
Sounds great, guys. I'm so happy for the show, and congrats again.
Oh,
It
thanks.
is so phenomenal.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
Tanya.
Thank you.